It was, yes, as you just said, maybe before 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
Yes, I was a part of a larger organization as an employee in the insurance industry, the litigation funding industry, to be correct. And I was part of the managing team. It was built up as a company, as a startup company, a subsidiary of Ergo Insurance. And I was in charge for marketing and communication, but part of the managing team. And I had a lot of experience and work together with designers in that role. And I realized that designers think totally differently than lawyers usually. And I was attracted and amazed from the very start. And this is how it all started, to be honest. Mm-hmm. And going back a little bit more during my studies, to earn my studies, I worked in a advertising industry agency, and I got into contact with texters, content writers, and advertisement people. And I realized even before that there is an art in, bringing things to the point, to point out what the most important things are with advertising slogans and so on. So I was fascinated about that anyway. But then in that role in the insurance industry, I got together with designers, and I thought to myself, so that might be the very key also for the law to make things more accessible when we use graphic design, when we use a better language. And it was more intrinsic motivation from myself to learn more about that in my role there. And that's why I decided to study design, media design to be correct here, beside my daily job, to understand the thinking better, but also to have the capability and the skills by myself to build new solutions. So that was the intrinsic motivation, like about 20 years ago. And in that time, we didn't have like legal design or legal tech or whatever we have right now. Mm-hmm. But it was the first contact, to be correct. Today, I can say I am 100% legal designer, which is a combination out of designer, but also consultant. So I'm more or less a consultant for companies, but also law firms. And the least part, I would say, I'm a lawyer. So I am a lawyer in the sense that I understand what the topics that arises from my clients, what they mean to them, how important they are, and what it means in the whole context of law, the industry, but also the necessity to work with it. For example, if we talk about companies, then they have to deal with a lot of internal directives. So let's say the law within companies. And this is something where my lawyer's background helped me tremendously, but also in law firms. So that's why I would really say being a legal designer is a combination out of so many things that you have to be capable of. So it's first of all and I will just describe it shortly because I think it's key also. So it's the legal part, but more in the sense that you understand how that all fits together, how it works together, how the system works, and maybe also what the major tasks of lawyers are. But then also the understanding of design in a way how you can apply design skills in order to make information more convenient and transparent. So it's more about the information design area, but also because we are in a digital age, it's about interaction design and user experience design. So if we have take a look at this design part more, then I would say that those are the most important ones that strive out. And on the other hand, you have to be a business person in the sense of being a consultant, knowing what the clients want. I myself run a business, so I have to, write proposals. I have to anticipate all the projects that I'm doing. I have to advise my clients in a way what they probably need in order to be successful also with them together. And last but not least, if you lead projects in legal design, you have to have also facilitation skills and the business knowledge of your clients as well. So it's a hybrid profession. The most important part of it is to be aware that it is necessary. That's the first step. Because you maybe take that for granted, but that's just not, because we are in the legal environment, and we as lawyers are not trained from our universities to be active in an interdisciplinary team. So we are trained in being the expert in our field, but we never, at least in Germany, I could say that frankly, because I have studied here, you never doing work together, being responsible for a joint success. You are only trained in you are the better expert than the other. So it's more or less like you are the only one who knows how it goes. So, and that's why interdisciplinarity is key when it comes to design and understanding what others want. And in legal design projects, I always reach out and advise my clients that we go from the beginning in an interdisciplinary setting. If you look in the companies or corporate context, then this might be a combination out of different business units, for example, like IT, but also marketing, law, but also compliance and everything you have there, and best case also one of the management. So this is then interdisciplinarity in a corporate field. But the same thing you can apply in law firm settings. When it comes to interdisciplinarity, then it's often lacking of clients, for example. If you want to, for example, develop better services for your clients and you do not integrate them in your interdisciplinary design team, then you probably lack a lot of knowledge along the project and will probably not get the right service that brings you success in the end. And a third part, maybe just then to conclude also that question, interdisciplinarity when it comes to officials like justice, access to justice topics, for example, which are also on the rise, then it's absolutely needed to integrate all stakeholders of the legal environment, of the legal situation you are in, to find out what their needs are. So that's why a short answer to your question is being aware of that interdisciplinarity is one common ground rule for design, and you have to it's not only nice to have, you should build it from the beginning. No, I think I answered that already. It's not, because we are not aware of that, or many lawyers are not aware of that. But the positive side is the more we grow this area of legal design, the more awareness we also have in the legal industry, the more people understand what it really means, human-centric design. Because if you confront a lawyer first time with the expression human-centric design, it's hard that they understand what it really means. So that's why you also have to be an evangelist. This is maybe another thing also coming back to what the professional, a hybrid position might force from you. So it's also to be an evangelist and being convinced that this is the right way to go, and explaining a lot along the way, and repeating all the time what, for example, as you just said, Marius, human-centric design might be, and what it really means when applied in the legal field. So I would also, again, maybe differentiate between the legal, the law firm side and the corporate side. In the corporate side, it's more common that you work together with other business units. So if you come there and say, hey, you have to open up for interdisciplinarity, then there might be a first question mark, but then, yeah, sure, because we have, business unit A, B, C, and why not? So we could, but if, for example, that's super funny, because if I say, okay, if we go along that project, why don't you integrate people from marketing and design in big corporations? You have that units, right? And to learn from each other, also for the future, how you can work together. Then this is totally news often for them. Okay, so I could collaborate with a designer in my company, and from the other way as well. So designers or marketing people in corporations, then they're also astonished that they got approached from the legal department. But once they did a project together, they're really happy because they can interact easier. So I would say the corporate world is more open or already more advanced in that respect. When it comes to law firms, then the let's say the fear of maybe making things wrong are higher. And you have to maybe convince them in another way. But once you open up for them, for example, the thing I was saying also before, to talk to clients, ask them open questions, for example, and also find out what their real needs are in a research. That is something new often, and lawyers in law firms are not used to that situation because they are the experts. So they don't ask the open questions because then they fear that they won't be recognized as the experts anymore. This is something you have to talk about first, but then, and this is in all the projects that we have done with law firms all so far, if you then integrate clients and ask about their needs and integrate them also in the creation process, they are so super happy. And they first time realize, yeah, okay, they want to do something good for me. The only advice I have to give law firms in that respect is always, if you want to improve your services through design and you want to integrate clients, don't charge them. Don't charge them for the research you're doing, because that's not the natural way. Law firms ticking because they have the billable hours system, and that's needed to explain for that part. This is business development on your end. You can't charge. And this is news. But once they open up and we do the research together with the clients, this is often then a very binding instrument coming from law firms and clients, and they're both super happy because they can better interact in the future. So that's the experience here to share, I guess. Yes, I totally would agree on that, out of the same reasons, because you learn more of the needs that you want to fulfill. And if you, let's face it, law is also an consultancy business. And if you are a consultant as a lawyer with a certain expertise, you have to learn from interdisciplinary approaches or researches the relevant points that you then might solve with your expertise. And this is why I totally agree with it. Yes, they need interdisciplinary research as well. Mm-hmm. But it's just not that common yet. And through projects, maybe like legal design, you have first interactions of that. But we also we didn't talk about that, but I'm also co-founder of the Liquid Legal Institute, which is a think tank, and where we actively search for all stakeholders in the legal industry to participate and create together. And in that setting, we do a lot of research together, also in this interdisciplinary setting already. So that's maybe also something to point out here. There is already activities going on. It's not absolutely news, but if it comes to a single law firm or consultancy here, yes, I totally agree with interdisciplinarity is key. the curricula in universities are very hard to change. This is probably something academics know very well. So if it comes to new topics, such as, first we had legal tech as one of the biggest topic, that was also the buzzword word that went around. And even in the legal tech part, we have some new developments, for example, here in Bavaria. So we have now implemented a legal tech education or study opportunity for advanced lawyers before their second state exam. That is something in education that is quite new. It started, I guess, this semester, so in this year only. But this is not in Germany like everywhere. It's in Bavaria, like in one country. But if it comes to legal design, I, for myself, teach only executives in the Bucerius Center on the legal profession, for example. And this is where people can apply voluntarily or have a educational program from their companies or law firms. So, but if we talk about like students from the beginning in universities, it's hard to integrate new topics such as legal tech or legal design, and we are unfortunately far away from having a legal design course as one major one pillar in your educational system yet. My vision would be that we will have that in the future, but it will need time, because you then always have to think about, okay, what from the traditional from the traditional content in my studies can I get rid of? You cannot add and add and add. But maybe on a side note, I think it will change everything tremendously, because we are now in the era of artificial intelligence, and we do not know yet what the implementations of that are at the moment. So, and the impact is huge, and we are all, have big question marks in our eyes right now. So, but when it maybe also because if we are in that AI track already, I always say it will not get rid of learning or doing things with design thinking or legal design, because what is legal design? Legal design is also in the first part, if we go into the research part, is about having the clue, what is the real problem that I have to solve. Yeah. And if you don't know what the real problem is, then also a chat GPT or another chatbot or artificial intelligence, you will not give in the right prompt if you don't know the problem. So I think we will not get rid of research. We will not get rid of problem finding and problem maybe solution could be then more of help with AI or tools that we have around. But this is just another toolkit more, in my opinion, at the moment. I also have in my client space smaller law firms. I just had one a couple of weeks ago, and I was so impressed by their attitude and the willingness to learn about legal design, and that they had they were much more flexible also than bigger organizations. So this is a real plus here. But how to start? So this was exactly the reason why Mira and I wrote the book. The book could give you and lead you or make you or enables you to do projects on your own without paying a lot of money, maybe for a legal designer or consultant that is accompanying you. So this is for the very first start. You could read the book, but also apply all the practical things that we described there. And you were saying that at the beginning also, Dorota, that I shared, or that we shared our secrets or experience. Yeah. We shared that exactly because of that reason. We have a vision that the more people applying design thinking or legal design in the legal field, the better the world will be. And this is kind of I'm not the person who do not share. I think sharing is always gaining you a lot of advantages, more than holding everything to yourself only. I think this is a philosophical question, or how you see your profession, and especially in the design, you need to share ideas. You need to have feedback. So that's why we also were very open with all the practical examples or tasks that you can do by your own. But to break it down like super low here, the first thing you have to do also in a small organization is to be aware that there might be more innovation in your business and opportunities to catch. And the second is, first, the awareness. Second is that you are able and willing to question the status quo. Is everything how I'm doing it in the right place? Do I do my service in a good way, or can I maybe improve it? So that's a character, it's an attitude, it's a mindset question. And this is why we also started with the 10 legal design philosophies in our book, because this is the basic rule. And then a third one, how you can apply it in a small organization, is start asking questions. It costs you nothing, but asking questions to your clients without billing them again, and you go into a real discussion and conversation with them. That's the beginning of everything. And then you can, add techniques. You can add maybe more professional services. You can add a designer that helps you with visuals, whatever. It doesn't have to cost much. It's more about a mindset question and how you approach it.